Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Rengoku Kyojuro. Rengoku is not considered a creep or pervert by any means. You would not consider him that, and he would not, of course, consider himself one. Neither of you saw him as that. So, with that said, the way he could act sometimes could be really strange and out of character for him, considering how most of the time he tended to be extremely respectful and very gentle with you. But sometimes he could be totally different and do things that you would never expect of him, things that made you just want to reevaluate his entire character and just simply realize just what kind of person you were going to spend the rest of your life with. You loved him though. He could be weird sometimes, and he could do things that you're honestly too tired of trying to explain. But you loved him. It was part of what you accepted. The entirety of him. His flaws and his weirdness and all that came with it. And you knew that you were not flawless either. And you had some things that even you could not explain. And yet you expected them and loved them and accepted them wholeheartedly. So it was not like you could be judgy. Not at all. The least you could do was offer him your unconditional love. And that was why you gave it out to him so freely. Because he deserved it. And because he always gave his love right back to you. He made sure you knew you were loved and cared for. And if you were going to be honest, that's all you really needed was him. Still, all of what you said previously was not on your mind when you were just walking around normally, and he moved to lift up your skirt and whistle. You had turned back so fast and slapped his hand away, your face bright red. Just what do you think you're doing, Rengoku? Well, what you saw. That's what I was doing, he said, biting back a chuckle, because there wasn't really any way he could explain himself, and it wasn't like he was keen on doing so. What you saw was what he did, and there was no other explanation for it. That was that, and he was willing to put up with the consequences, no matter how awful they may be. Though, if you were to be honest, there weren't really much consequences. The most you could do with him was just pout for a little bit and hope that that will be enough for him to regret this. Because honestly, you're too soft for him, and you can't bring yourself to be mad. But if anything, you do know what he wants now, and you will definitely spoil him later. Just when he learns to ask in a more respectful way and not lift up your skirt like that, you weren't on the street. The two of you lived together, and you were expected to do so for as long as your lives went. Surely you could learn a better way of asking than just doing that. And that's why, for the rest of the day, you ignored him completely, while he kept making puppy eyes at you. And eventually, it got too difficult for you to resist. And that's how you got right back to talking again with him. And perhaps doing more than just talking, whatever that may be. Rui. Rui can be a little bit nervous and shy. Actually, most of the time he was nervous and shy, and he was so hesitant on doing anything. It was adorable to watch. And honestly, it worried you sometimes, whether or not your relationship would develop, and whether or not you would do anything more than just talk to each other and cuddle. You do want to feel like you're wanted, in more ways than one. And it wasn't like he didn't make his love obvious, but sometimes you just wanted something different. Sometimes you wanted what other people had that you didn't. As selfish as it may seem, and as impatient as you felt, it was something that you needed and wanted. And even though it was all in your head, you still felt bad for wanting all of this. But you never told him, never wanting him to feel stressed, never wanting to put pressure on him to speed things up, because he knew he needed to take this at his own pace. Just because he loved you didn't mean he didn't get to enjoy things now. He was anxious and nervous because this was his first love, his first experience in a relationship, and that's why he was so worried, not knowing what to do and what would be good and what not. So, he had decided to be patient with him, not wanting to do anything that would annoy him or pressure him into acting a certain way, and slowly introduce him to things that he was not used to. And it worked out, miraculously. But he never thought that one of those days Ryu was going to end up surprising you of all people. It was too shocking and too unpredictable. Perhaps he knew just the perfect time to strike too, because you were kind of sleepy, reading a book right next to him, when his hand wandered, slowly and slowly until it reached your skirt and lifted the hem of it, making you freeze in place as you looked at him, your eyes wide and your cheeks red. Rui, what are you doing? He whispered, breathless, and completely caught off guard by what he was doing. But then he smiled, leaning down to press a soft kiss to your thighs, and that's when you knew exactly what he was doing. He felt like you were going to pass out. Perhaps it was so surprising. That's why you were so caught off guard by it. And that's why you had no response to it, feeling your body shiver at every touch. But then, once it was all over, he looked at you shyly, like he was just in a daze and everything has come back to him. Was that alright with you, Wyan? Or, or did I do too much? I hope I didn't mess up. He mumbles, and you smile softly, fond, as you wrap your arms around him and pull him in, leaning up to press a soft kiss to his temple and ruffling his hair. It was just fine. You were real good, Rui. You really surprised me. Well, I'm going to try to do that more. Do you like it then? Well, I do. That's why, he said, and it felt like you were pulling teeth with him. But at the very least, he had admitted that, and you were making some progress together.